Greetings from LA, my dear friends, and greetings to my Patreon friends. This is a video where I'd like to react and respond to Patreon subscribers submitting to me their favorite films list. So thank you so much for your submission. And if you've submitted this as a Patreon member and then subsequently you have canceled your membership to Patreon, that's completely okay. I still am very appreciative of your support, so thank you very much. And thank you very much to all who have supported me through the Patreon. I very much appreciate it, and it's very welcome indeed. And I'm truly very grateful. Thank you very much for this. So let me now respond to a comment that I received very recently. And this is from Matthew Hunt. So hello, Matthew Hunt. And you say here, it's a long time after your post, but here are my favorite films. Psycho, the film that made me interested in film history. 2001, I've done research in the Kubrick Archive and love his work. Pink Flamingos, I'm interested in censorship and cultural taboos, and this film breaks all of them. Pulp Fiction, my favorite film released in my lifetime, i.e. since 1978. And you also say, author of Thai Cinema Uncensored, A History of Censorship and Political Filmmaking in Thailand. Well, Matthew Hunt, thank you very much. And it looks like you have qualifications and credentials that very easily surpass anything that I might have. So well done indeed. So you know more about this topic of cinema than I do. But I'm all the same very honored that you would leave behind a comment like this. And yes, I'm very honored indeed. Thank you so much. This is a great list. So Psycho, I've mentioned before, about how I've seen Psycho so much, and since I was very young, that I forget the first time that I saw Psycho. It's been that early, so I don't remember. So I would have been very, very young, and it was one of those films that for me, I'm not surprised by it because I've always known what the surprises of that film, what the surprises are of that film. But still, there's something very captivating about it. I know its rhythms. I know the scenes are gonna happen next, but I'm still very fascinated by all the trappings of it, and and the mechanics of it, cinema-wise. I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know the specifics of how the angle of the shot or this. I don't mean in those terms, but just in very maybe in ways that I can intuit as a film goer rather than a filmmaker. So I can intuit how a certain scene can be broken down. So I really take to the film tremendously. And it's like, how should I put it? It's like, to me, it's so fundamentally part of my cinema life, Psycho, and other films by Hitchcock, that if someone were to ask me, oh, can you rank Hitchcock's films? I think it's impossible for me, because this is just like, it's sort of elemental to cinema itself to me. That's how I feel about a film like Psycho. So it's a wonderful choice. I spoke about it a little bit in a fan film commentary track that I did on the Patreon page about Psycho. I enjoyed that very much. My comments aren't very serious on that. I'm speaking purely as a fan of the film, but I've thought about it quite a lot. But I'm not the deepest thinker when it comes to this or any other film, mind you, of course, but I have thought about it quite a lot. So, but thanks for that mention, Psycho. That's a really good one. Next is 2001, A Space Odyssey. So here's one that I've also mentioned in other list reactions, because this is, I think, a film that comes up, and quite rightly comes up a lot in favorite films lists. 2001, A Space Odyssey. I think this is it's a landmark film, very rightly so. And I'm obviously not the first person to say that. It is a landmark film. It's a milestone of cinema achievement. because it feels so grand, and it feels like there is the window of the cinema screen feels like a window into a world that is purely like universal in size and scope. And what's even more exciting about that, it feels like something that maybe people were sensing was just around the corner. I mean, I'm making this video in 2025, and it's, 24 years or so after the year 2001. So maybe things, right, it feels, I mean, in the one hand, it is a year that's prior to 2025, I get it. But I still watch 2001 A Space Odyssey now, and I still feel like, oh, it's like we're talking about the frontier just around the corner. What lies ahead of us in terms of our future. So for me, it still feels like a film of the future, which I love, and it's tapping into something which is so great, and it's really at the center of like it's really it's at the center of like drama or Greek drama or just drama in general, as well as linking drama with evolution, which I absolutely love, which is the what do you call it, the point, right? The whole thing about the taking the next step in evolution. The monolith and the next step from A to B to C. So we see at the beginning the step from A to B, and then B being somehow or other being able to use tools as a means of survival and indeed killing. And then the step from, say, B to C, that might mark the climax of the film in terms of some next evolutionary step that's taken. What I love about this is it seems also that this is also a kind of a metaphor for drama. The collision of A and B equals C, and it's a seemingly a simple calculation to make, but it leaps and bounds, and I love that very much. I really love that very much. And you see this like A plus B equals C calculation throughout the entirety of 2001. People making decisions like what to do in a very crisis situation, sort of in the mid part of the film. And you see A plus B equals C played out so well, and you see it from the vantage point of various characters. And that itself is drama. A plus B equals C. That is drama. So it's not just drama, but the Kubrickian calculus of A plus B plus equals C is not just drama in the form of 2001, but it's also the metaphor for evolution, made manifest in the monolith and things in 2001. So I find that really fascinating. So well done for 2001: A Space Odyssey mentioning. So that's a good one. Next is Pink Flamingos. I'm also on record saying I love Pink Flamingos. I remember seeing this for the first time upon its, I think, 25th anniversary release. It's around 1997 or so, so I would have been 17 or so. Shocked me to the core, and I was repulsed, unlimitedly, or in an unlimited fashion. Then just absolutely fell in love with its approach, its devil-may-care approach, and it's great. It has wonderful hooks, and I mean, you talk about it. You mentioned censorship and cultural taboos. I mean, it's also this thing of maybe cultural taboos. I think it's one way to express it. I think also another way to express it is there is the ultimate form of self-expression. The ultimate form of self-expression, right? It's a cinema form of self-expression, right? Because you can do and say things in cinema with certain limitations, mind you, but you can do and say things in cinema that you can't do in real life. Or at least if you tried, there would be some consequences with that. But this is, I think, the very heart. My intuition tells me this is at the heart of your comment here. If so, I agree completely. There is also I should say too that with Pink Flamingos, it was my introduction Well, I guess I'd known Divine from, say, roles like Hairspray, but I'd seen Hairspray not knowing that it was a John Waters film. But then watching Pink Flamingos and putting two and two together and realizing a little bit later, oh, that's Divine. That's the same Divine. Oh, my goodness. So Divine, I became a huge fan of Divine. And just what Divine does in Pink Flamingos. Not just Divine, but the entire, the entire Dreamland cast, but the players. But Divine's like presence, it's like you think of the great performances in all of cinema. I mean, the great performances. I would put Divine's Bab Johnson in from Pink Flamingos. I would put Divine up there in terms of the great performances of all time. Simply because it's just so iconic. You cannot unsee what you have seen in Pink Flamingos in the hands of Divine. It is. And those images that have been conjured up are really like magnificent. Again, it's a film not for everyone. I mean, there's some scenes that are really, like, when I first saw it, it just abhorred me. Really, really did. But then I think, why did it abhor me? Why did I feel that way? It really is great food for thought. Why do I react to it in this way? I mean, it's a film. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't like come out and with claws and reach out to me and grab me. I'm just sitting. I am sitting in the audience of my own voluntary will, choosing to see this film. So, I can always turn it off, or I could just walk away. So it's but I'm still compelled by it. So, even in my young mind, whenever I saw it for the first time, 17 or so, that maybe started a little bit of thinking on my part as to why I was feeling this way. So it was great lesson, and thoroughly entertained. Gross out entertainment. I mean, there's the end of the film, which is very very infamous. Perhaps the most infamous thing that John Waters and Divine have ever done. But the part of the film that really got to me was there's a surfing bird. The way that the song, the section of the film where that song is used. Oh my gosh! So whenever that song will forever be associated in my mind with orifices, and the whenever I if I see eggs, I just want to scream at eggs, and that sort of thing. But it's very unsettling. It's very shocking. So, it's very funny, and it's all done for laughs. And there's some pretty profound questions that are done. I mean, there's something that happens with some chickens, and it really calls into question certain things. But it's also, I mean, if you listen to John Waters' sort of commentary on it, he has a good retort to this point. So it also introduced me to the mind of John Waters, and he's a very intelligent filmmaker, very funny, very witty, very intelligent. I enjoy, by the way, whenever there's the opportunity to listen to John Waters' commentary. I love those opportunities. So. It's great stuff. Pink Flamingos. And then Pulp Fiction. In the mid-90s. You say it's your favorite film released in your lifetime since 1978. So I'm assuming you're born in 78. I was born in 1979, so I think we're of the same generation. And so I remember Pulp Fiction came out in the mid-90s. I was still in high school, and it was a huge deal, an absolutely huge deal. Critics were raving about it. I might have mentioned it before, but for example, in the United States, where I was at the time, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert's television movie critics show was still quite popular, and it was broadcast on TV, I think, weekly. And when Pulp Fiction came out, they were both of them raving about it. It was such a great thing. And it already had its success at the Cannes Film Festival at that year. It was just about to be released in the U.S. theaters. And it was a big deal. And I think changed the game so much. I mean, and I remember people were just raving about, my gosh, this film, Pulp Fiction, can you believe it? And the soundtrack came out, and it was this, pumpkin and honey buddy dialogue that kind of opens it, which is a great, weird way to have a soundtrack, and the bits of dialogue as well. The way in which chronology was used and warped, and the mix and match of things. Oh, it was a game changer for a lot of people. And maybe granted, for other cinephiles, maybe people knew of these types of game-changing films prior to Pulp Fiction. But I would say that for Pulp Fiction, at least American audiences, mainstream American audiences, this was a big, mind-blowing experience. So it was quite the game changer in that respect. And I was there. I was part of that initial sort of generational audience which experienced Pulp Fiction in real time, as it were. So it was great. It was great. Just little things, but as I grow older and I rewatch the film, just little things I really admire about the film, like the way Uma Thurman says the word ketchup, or when or John Travolta says, like, get the shot. I remember too just how clever the switch of the chronology was in that film, because it made the final sequence so suspenseful for me, because I thought, based on the chronology and how characters seem to appear and disappear, I thought that meant, something bad will happen. Something really bad might happen at the very end. But something big happens, but it's not the way you expect it to. But then all the clues are there right for you to pick up from the very start of the film. And so when you watch it, you realize, oh my goodness, that's what's going to happen. And I thought that was so clever on the part of Tarantino and Avery. In putting it together. And I remember, this is a very side note, I remember Tarantino's speech at the MTV Movie Awards when he won, whatever was Pulp Fiction won an award. And this was MTV Movie Awards at the time. And his speech was, and if I'm paraphrasing, so if my memory's off, please correct me. But what did he say? It was something like, he was up there on the stage accepting his award at the MTV Movie Awards, and he said, Pop Quiz Hot Shot. You go to movie awards, you go to all these movie award shows throughout the year. You keep losing to Forrest Gump. What do you do? What do? You go to the MTV Movie Awards. So, anyway. So that's Pulp Fiction. So anyway, my dear friend, thank you so much, Matthew, for this. And I'm so sorry for my very shallow comments on these films. As I say, you have much stronger cinema expertise than I, obviously. So, please forgive my very elementary takes on these, as always. But I hope you're well, Matthew. And thank you again for submitting your list. And the warmest regards, and I hope you're well. And to you, Matthew, and to the rest of the Patreon fans, friends, and Patreon community, thank you so much, as always, for your support. It's very welcome indeed. Thank you. And until the next one, take care and cheers. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you all. Thank you.